In Access, it's possible to set some rules that check what's being typed in to make sure that the information is sensible or correct. These are called validation rules. And I'm going to show you 3 different types of validation rules that you could choose on this example database. In the volunteers table, there's an age group field. And if I look at the datasheet view, the only possible options for age group are A, B or C. So I want to limit the data entry into that field so you can only type in A, B or C. So if I go back to design view, click on age group, you can see here there's a validation rule. And my rule is that you can only type in A or B or C. So all you have to do is type in your possible options separated by the word or. If I click away from there, you can see that Access understands that rule and has put quotes around it because it's text and capitalised the ors. So when you click away from your validation rule, you can check if it's correct or not by how Access deals with it. So that's just one way of validating a cell, a field, A or B or C, and they could be any values that you put in there. There's also a validation text, and this is a message that will pop up if you make a mistake. So in here I'm just going to type, please only enter A, B or C. So that's the message that will pop up if there's a mistake. When you've created your validation rule and validation text, it's a good idea to then save your table. So click on the save icon at the top there, and you'll get this message saying that things have been changed, but it's fine to click OK, press yes. So that's one type of rule. Another type of rule that you can do can work with dates. So my date of birth, it's difficult to validate the date of birth, but one thing you can put in is that the date of birth must be before today. Sometimes when you're entering data, you put in today's date by mistake when you're putting in date of birth. So we can say that the date you type in must be before today, and you can do that by doing the less than sign, so before, and then to represent today's date, you type date, open bracket, close bracket, and that represents today. So that validation rule says that you must type in a date that's before today. If I click away from there, yeah, you can see that Access has accepted it and capitalised the date there. So I'm going to type in my error message. If you type in the wrong date, please enter a date before today. So there's another rule. I'm just going to save that one. Say yes to that. Yes to that again. Okay, and the third rule that I'm going to show you is one that looks at a range of values. So here's my pay per hour, and I'm only going to pay between £7 an hour and £10 an hour. So if I type in here my validation rule between 7 and 10, it should only let me type in values between those two, between that range, between 7 and 10. And again, an error message, please only enter a value between £7 and £10. And between will work on any numbers or any dates, so you can validate fields using between on values and dates. So there's 3 different types of validation you can do. One is using the OR, only letting certain values be typed in. You could use dates, greater than, before than, and that represents today's date, and then the range between 2 values or 2 dates. So you need to think about your database, and you need to do at least 2 different types of validation on 2 different fields in your database.